G'day everyone, welcome back to the hobby channel. It's been a while between videos, maybe 3 weeks at least. It's because I've been working on these guys, and it's taken me perhaps longer than I thought. And then at the at the final sort of post, I hit some snags yesterday with the photographs I'd taken of them were absolutely dreadful. And it's all to do with the settings on this phone. So I've gone back to the drawing board really with it, and been trying to dig into the manual settings. So hopefully the photos that I'm putting up after this video are a better reflection of what the miniatures look like, certainly than the dreadful ones I've took. And even in past recent videos, some of the photos have been really quite dreadful. The way the cameras sort of processed the image and made it all cartoony and just weird. Even my wife noticed it yesterday, and she said, "Oh," she could see me going through the pictures on the computer processing. She said, "Oh, that really doesn't. That's not a reflection of your work, what you do." I said, "Yeah." Bit discouraging. So it's back to the drawing board today, and look, I'd already made a video as well, and I thought, stuff it, scrap it, start again. I don't usually do that thing. I have deleted a couple of videos that I never uploaded, but yeah, this one is like, yep, start all over again. So here we go again. Yeah, it's part of a Welsh war band. Basically, Gary already has a Saga warband. Gary lives up Queensland way. Painted these for him, and these are kind of filling out. So he's got all the options for Saga. So there's like a unit of 12 slingers, which you can see in front. And I've painted these poses quite a bit. And other jobs as well. I think he had a bunch that he made into these guys were hurling javelins or something like that instead of holding slings. So there's 12 of them, and it's just a matter of trying to get them varied enough, without looking too repetitive or boring. So, yeah, I've used the usual kind of more muted colours for the lower class sort of guys, the slingers, and then save the brighter colours for the elites. So, yeah, not much more to say about the slingers. You can see them in front of you. They'll hopefully, please, I hope the pictures will be okay. I actually ended up photographing them just on the desk on the box like this, because when I tried to use the white backdrop, it was, it wasn't good. I'm going to have to rethink some things and maybe go back to some of the old ways of photographing that I used to do with a kind of a muted greyish brownish backdrop that I used to have. Anyway, we'll see how we go down the line. Anyway, so I'm just going to pause, move the slingers out of the way so you can see what's behind them. Okay, so yeah, these are the light sort of horseman guys, Welsh horsemen. Obviously rich enough to better afford a pony and stuff and a shield, but not super high status. But one of them has got a helmet. It's always funny, I know some of you guys notice it too when you put your work in front of a camera. I know Dom's mentioned it and other guys as well. It's like once you get it in front of a camera, suddenly you start noticing things like, oh, look at that bit of static grass stuck to that figure, or look at that bit of silver shining through where I missed the undercoat. And when you put a light on it as well, it makes those things jump out. And I just, in between moving the slingers, I noticed that one of the guys, a little glint of silver in his hair. I thought, oh, blow it. So out with the brown liner and putting this tiny little micro dot in there, trying to make it disappear. Oh dear, oh dear. So yeah, these are the like horseman guys. These shield decals are from Little Big Men Studios. They don't fit perfectly for this size of shield, so I have to bend them round the rim and then I paint the rim in like a leathery brown, just using flat earth. See, there's a bit of dust there on the edge of that. You just see it, don't you? Anyway, yeah, so that's them. There'll be more photos of them at the end, and I'll pause again and bring the next lot of guys up. Okay, guys, here are the high status dudes. There's a couple of sort of warlords, banner bearers, Hearthguard types on horseback with their chainmail, and this really interesting character figure for the Welsh. What can I say about them? With this project, I kind of like took inspiration from the colours on the Welsh national flag. So there's green and there's red and there's sort of off whites in the project, and there's a bit of yellowy gold to sort of, in my way of thinking, or like the daffodil being the national flower of Wales. So there's little tufts of yellow on the bases as well, but it's quite subtle. It's not overpowering, and it's kind of disguised by other tufts and things. So yeah, this is a very cool character figure. It's a lot of fun to paint. I employed sort of two different techniques. So this guy's got, I've used the same sort of reds, but this guy's made a much smoother sort of velvety red cloak. And whereas this guy, I've made the reds go darker, and I've used a lot of stippling to create texture, because the cloak's sort of rougher. So maybe that'll come out in the photographs, I don't know, but just create a different texture effect on his cloak. And there's some hand-painted shields in under there. The flags are Little Big Men Studio flags. This is a nice miniature as well. So I tried to have complementary colours, as often try and think in terms of that. So this green here, rich green, complements the reds in the flag quite nicely. And again, you've got red and green on the main warlord as well, but a different green was used for that and for some of the other guys. I think he's got that other green on him too. So just before, excuse hands, after I'd taken the photographs again, and just before I was about to do this video, this guy went plonk straight onto the floor, and this jammed into the carpet and broke away from his hand. So before I could do the video, I had to super glue this back on, and then try and disguise where the super glue was, because it goes all shiny, doesn't it? And paint over those areas again. So down here where it joined onto the horse and into his hand. So, So hopefully no more drops, and hopefully they can travel all right in the post. It's going to be quite a challenge to parcel them up in a way that they don't get mangled. It's hard to avoid things pinging off despite your best efforts, with all sorts of packaging and bubble wrap and things. You can't expect the postman to handle your parcel with care necessarily, and if you put fragile on it, you're probably asking for trouble. They're the ones that'll probably really chuck. Sorry, I'm being a bit cynical there. But you just hope that it's only a shield here and there, and maybe a spear that's popped out, and nothing worse. So I've given him a sort of a rich green cloak as well. That standard bearer. Again, Little Big Men Studio decal there. This chappy here had spare shields. He doesn't come with one on his back, whereas this guy's got one sculpted on his back. So what I did is I actually, out of green stuff, I made a strap that goes over his shoulder, around his back, that he could hang a shield on, because he's just got little throwing javelins, and he does have a sword at his waist. So that's his shield. Kind of bluey grey thing, but hopefully it goes all right with the yellows. And there's a colour in between. The old saying, is it blue and green should never be seen unless there's a colour in between? I don't know. Perhaps it's an old wives' tale. But anyway, yes, he's got that on him. And then this fella, yeah, like I said, a sculpted on shield, so I just painted a simple design on there with the yellow and a kind of a purplish brown. Seems to work all right. And yeah, and this cool dude in the end, apparently some story about him, he number of times he paid off the Vikings with gold, so he's actually got this bag here with gold coins sticking out of it. Yeah, and that's it. My first effort at making a video. First time around. Yesterday when I made this was a much longer, and I waffled on for ages and went on about all the paints and this and that and a lot of other things. If you have any questions about the paints I've used, please feel free to ask them. But don't leave it too long, because otherwise I will forget what I've used. Sometimes it happens that someone will ask a question about an older video, maybe that I've made a year or two ago, and ask what colors I use, and I have no idea. And not very often I write things down unless some amazing formula comes to me that I think, oh, I'll need to remember that for later. But yeah, basically the reds were achieved using a scale 75 set of reds. And the greens were, well, there was one, a scale 75 green, black forest green, and the other greens were done with a triad from Reaper, which I think it's got peacock green and viper green and something else. I don't know. The labels fade on those paints, so it's hard to tell. So yeah, there you go. Yeah. Oh, and the yellows were done using AK Interactive paints, starting with a base of Japanese brown, then Sahara yellow, and then I think I mixed in, I don't know, ice yellow into the Sahara yellow or something like that. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm off to paint some Carthaginians next, I believe, and I hope you like the pictures. I do hope they turn out better than my previous efforts, and I apologize for rubbishy photos before. It's disappointing for me, and it is hard to. They say the camera doesn't lie, but it does. It sure does, especially this day and age. You can't beat a Mark 1 eyeball for seeing things as they really are. So, but anyway, hopefully I've done a better job at portraying a bit more what they look like anyway. So thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.